What do you call a potato that's gone bad? A dictator. What would you say if I were to tell you that you could get high on gardening? There's actually an abundance of literature out there pointing towards the various different ways in which gardening does alter our mind states. So in this episode, we're going to explore the psychology of gardening and ask the question, what does gardening do to our brains?
Hello, and welcome to Wham Provides, where the food from plants and animals keeps us satisfied. We can grow it, find it, or catch it for dinner. Come and learn how to get it from a pro to beginner.
Gardening has been around for centuries, with the earliest known agricultural settlements originating in the Fertile Crescent some 10,000 to 15,000 years ago. The people of the Fertile Crescent, where conditions are mostly dry and arid, developed a sophisticated irrigation system to help cultivate their crops. Later, in the Middle Ages, gardens were often used to symbolize paradise, while in the Victorian era, gardens were a reflection of wealth and status. For the most part, though, in the absence of complex commodity chains, gardening was just a necessity for survival. But if grocery stores and markets are accessible for most of the world today, then why do we still garden? According to an article published in the Journal of Environmental Psychology, people garden to relieve stress, connect with nature, and find meaning in life. Gardening requires a certain level of focus and attention to detail. In fact, gardening has actually been likened to meditation, with both activities providing a sense of calm and relaxation. Gardening embeds me deeply into the present moment. When I'm gardening, I'm not really thinking about work responsibilities or family drama. I'm just kind of in tune with my senses. This might not be considered full-out meditation, but for people like me with a busy mind and an active body, it sure is an effective way to combat stress and anxiety. I'm not just cultivating crops, bro. I'm cultivating Zen. Is this the finger combination that people pinch when they do the meditatey thing? One of the main benefits of gardening is its positive effects on mental health. Research has shown that gardening can reduce symptoms of depression and anxiety, as well as improve mood and self-esteem. Gardening provides a sense of purpose and accomplishment, which can be especially beneficial to those struggling with mental health issues. In addition, the act of nurturing and caring for plants can help cultivate a sense of empathy and connection to the natural world. In addition to making us feel good, gardening also helps us perform better and longer. According to a study published in the Journal of Physiological Anthropology, gardening can improve brain function and reduce the risk of cognitive decline in older adults. Gardening involves a variety of tasks that require cognitive function, such as planning, problem solving, and decision making. It also improves our attention span, which can translate to improved memory and learning. So, what's actually going on when we garden then? And why did I describe it as a high at the beginning of the video? Well, it all boils down to a neurotransmitter called dopamine, which plays a crucial role in regulating our mood, motivation, and pleasure. Dopamine is released every time we do something that our brains and our bodies like, and it turns out that gardening is one of those things. Recently, researchers in the Netherlands found that participants who engaged in gardening reported lower levels of the stress hormone, cortisol, while also noting increased levels of dopamine. These changes to our brain chemistry contribute to a sense of well-being, happiness, and relaxation, making gardening a great activity for introducing calm into our lives. Get. More cat shit. Poop. There's more poop. There's always more poop. Apparently, the neighborhood cats have figured out how to open this thing up so that they can poop. Cat shit. Okay, so gardening is chill like 95% of the time. The other 5% of the time, you're trying to figure out how to ethically rid your garden of nuisance pests like slugs, cats, and deer. Okay, so check this out. Those are deer tracks. 3 nights in a row, a deer has been coming and eating all of the plants in my garden.
Dude, the thing is massive!
Get out of here. Get up. Get up. In your opinion, what pest has caused me the most frustration in the garden?
Deer.
Can you describe a negative encounter that I've had with deer?
Probably the one time that you chased one broad daylight in the neighborhood with your boxers.
Even when gardening is bad for the brain, it finds this way of being good for the body. Those countless deer chases and cat poop scoops have led to some tremendous gains in my lower back and leg strength. If we want to garden, we have to move. We're constantly weeding, digging, planting, bending over. It's just generally pretty good for movement. In addition to being good for movement, I'm also out here absorbing a ton of vitamin D. This sunlight is actually having a tangible impact on my brain chemistry right now. Speaking of vitamin D, let's talk about Andrew Huberman. Andrew is a neurobiologist who has studied the effects of light on the brain and has spoken about the importance of getting sunlight into our eyes. He and his lab have shown that exposure to natural light, specifically in the form of sunlight, helps regulate our circadian rhythms. The circadian rhythm is our body's internal clock that controls our sleep and wake cycle, as well as other bodily functions such as hormone production, metabolism, and digestion. When our circadian rhythm is disrupted, it can have negative effects on our health, including increasing the risk of obesity, diabetes, and depression. Sunlight exposure is particularly important for regulating the circadian rhythm because it contains a high amount of blue light. Blue light has been shown to be the most effective at resetting the internal clock and regulating our sleep-wake cycle. Have I said regulating enough? By getting sunlight in our eyes in the morning, we can help to synchronize our circadian rhythm and improve our sleep quality. Secondly, sunlight exposure has been linked to the production of serotonin, another neurotransmitter that affects mood, appetite, and sleep. When we're exposed to sunlight, our brains produce more serotonin, which can contribute to an improved mood and increased feeling of well-being. This is why sunlight exposure is often recommended as a natural treatment for depression, and why sometimes we feel off during the cold and dark winter months. I, like many of you, also experience a little bit of seasonal affective disorder, and I found that gardening is truly one of the only ways of combating it. it's hard to be sad when you got berries. So, I've already finished production of this video, but I just wanted to jump into this segment and say that sometimes tomatoes and berries don't make you happy. Last week my dad died, and gardening isn't the solution to everything. But in that video I made it sound like it was. And I just want to say that for anybody who's struggling, I don't want to make light of your struggles. And what's helped me this past week is community and having people around me. So reach out if you're feeling sad. Tomatoes and berries aren't the cure. The cure is communication and love. So reach out to your loved ones. So for anybody who doesn't have loved ones around them or near them, or maybe they just don't have loved ones, I'm going to leave some links in the description for mental health services that you can reach out to. I want to let you know that I'm going to start seeing a therapist, a grievance therapist. Just walking around the garden like moping. Doesn't help that everything's currently dying. It's like the first frost. It's like just days after my dad died. So everything is just falling apart in the garden. But yeah. You're not alone. So reach out to somebody. That's what's worked for me. Having my brother in town. Having a rock solid fiance. That's helped. And cats. Honestly. I've got 2 cats inside. And whenever I'm feeling a little down, it's like they know. They come up and they help me get through it. So, get yourself some cats. Don't let them shit in your garden, but get yourself some cats. Let's get back to the video. Have you ever heard somebody say something like, "I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual"? I know it comes across kind of douchey and pretentious, but honestly, I resonate with it. As somebody who spends the bulk of my free time in nature, I'm constantly reminded of the fact that I'm just one small part of my local ecosystem, and that local ecosystem is just one small part of a global biosphere. Gardening is a constant, humbling reminder that we're a part of something greater than ourselves. Whether that feeling of connectedness is to a higher power or to the natural world doesn't really matter. Gardening can be a way to connect with our inner selves and to provide meaning and purpose in life. But it can also be a way to connect with others and to build a sense of community. In fact, gardening has been used as a form of therapy for individuals dealing with addiction, trauma, and a wide array of other mental health issues. How can you be sad when you've got tomatoes? Gardening can provide a safe and nurturing environment for individuals to process their emotions and to work through some of their challenges. When you care for someone or something other than yourself, you feel needed and important to that thing or person. So, there you have it. The psychology of gardening. We've explored the roots of gardening, its benefit for the mind and body, and its spiritual significance. I believe that gardening is more than just a hobby or pastime, it's a way of life. It provides a sense of purpose and connection to something larger than ourselves, all while improving our mental and physical well-being. And the best part is, basically anyone can do it. So the next time you're feeling stressed, anxious, or upset, consider taking a little break and heading out to the garden. You might be surprised at just how much it can do for your mind, body, and soul. Until next time, keep on digging. That's my microphone. I don't need that anyway. You're lucky you don't poop in my garden.